Mr. Evans, we are live. The floor is yours.
Okay, good afternoon. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar on climate readiness and capacity building. So my name is Evans Phiri. I'm a fellow at Community Outreach, and I'm honored to be your moderator for today. Okay, so this session is proudly hosted under the banner of Women Ascension, a community dedicated to empowering women, advancing education, leadership, and sustainable development across the globe. Through our community outreach, we support women in building essential skills, creating opportunities, and driving meaningful impact in their communities and beyond. So before we dive in, a quick reminder, just a quick one. Please keep your microphones muted. Yeah, keep your microphones muted to avoid disruptions. And feel free to post your questions in the chat box during the session. We'll address them during our question and answer segment. Now, let's get started. So allow me to introduce our speaker for today. It's my pleasure to introduce our distinguished speaker, Dr. Renuka Thakore. She is the founder of Globe Sustainable Futures, Progress Through Partnership UK, and a leading voice in climate resilience, sustainable development, and global partnerships. With more than 35 years of experience and multiple international awards to her name, Dr. Thakore champions education, innovation, collaboration across the globe, North and South. Today, she will guide us through essential skills and strategies for building climate readiness and stronger communities. Please join me in welcoming Dr. Thakore.
Thank you so much. Thank you. So should I share my screen?
Of course, ma'am, you can share.
Thank you. So thank you so much, everyone, today for being with me. And also thank you for the organizer and especially to Women Ascensions group as well, organizer and the moderator. To allow this and facilitate this so that I can reach out to everyone who are here. So thank you very much. So today I'm going to, as already mentioned, that I'm Dr. Renuka Thakore and I'm founder of Global Sustainable Futures Progress Through Partnership Network. And alongside, I have also established a secretariat type of company that works for this network, which is called Global Sustainable Futures Network, CIC. CIC is communities interest company that is registered in UK. So today I'm going to talk about climate readiness and capacity building. So let me go through something that you might have been familiar, but let me see how I can, educate you or maybe make you more aware of these areas. So today, through the presentation, I will just go through essential skills needed for climate emergency, job security during uncertain times, then understanding climate risk, protecting resources and vulnerable food systems, and partnering with various stakeholders. So starting from climate change, I know it's not new to all of you, but it may be new to some of you because it is not really seen every day, but it is slightly and gradually getting into our day-to-day lifestyle. So you can see frequent extreme climate weathers happening around the world. There are prolonged periods of droughts. There are prolonged periods of rainfall as well. And where there should be sunny, it's cold. Where it is cold, there is sunny, and so on. And overall, the Earth atmosphere is getting hotter and hotter, which is called climate warming. Global warming. And it is also impacting, our natural resources such as forests, water reservoirs, oceans, and so on. So these are several things that are impacting our natural resources. And you can see that there is water scarcity felt everywhere, though we see sometimes a lot of water going out, like coming on the land, but it is wasted, or it is, not being used that it should be used. So due to urbanization, there is flooding, but the water gets wasted. Likewise, there is a loss of forest cover, mainly due to several activities, like it could be used for agriculture, or it could be used for some other reasons, like, buildings and others, infrastructure, and so on, but also due to weather conditions, and also need for, energy used from the wood. So there are several different uses of forest, and they are diminishing at a very high rate. There is a depletion of minerals as well on the land. Then there is extinction of species and the oil depletion as well. So there's several things that are, depleting, and they are not replenishing at the rate that it should be, because of the, again, several problems like population rise, but also due to, industrialization, due to several, natural disasters as well. So having said that, it's not new. And today, this is today's paper clipped that I have taken out. And you can see that several things are happening. People know about it, but still we are not able to address it properly, or address it, fully, with a proper commitment and proper knowledge or proper technology. So it is very much needed that we must get aware of today's problem, and try to upskill ourselves in a way that how we should address these problems. And so when it comes to this, I think, and many countries have declared this climate change as climate emergency, and it is an emergency because the climate change, according to Paris Agreement, we need to reduce our carbon emissions by to the baseline that was in 1990, and that is by 2050 we need to come to net zero. And so to achieve that, many of them have declared climate emergency and have promised that we should be, I mean, not promised, but agreed to reduce carbon emission uh, uh, accordingly, whatever the rate, whatever their carbon emissions are, depending on their carbon emissions, they have agreed to come to a position that it would be net zero achievement, like achieve net zero. So, for these, because it is a climate related to climate, and it is also related to all our activities and business activities and livelihood activities, it is a very complex issue. And therefore, we need to have several types of skills to address this problem. And so, you need to have technical and scientific skills, such as you need to know what is climate, why it is called, what is the science behind it, why we should be monitoring this environment, how it is moving, that whether it is warming up or whether it is cooling down. So how we can understand the environment. These all are very scientific issues, and we need scientific research, scientific outlook or scientific knowledge for this. At the same time, we have to use these natural resources less and less, and therefore we need to use renewable energy in a way that we can replenish again and again. We can keep on using that energy for our use. and that comes into the full portfolio of renewable energy. And these are, solar energy, wind energy, and we have never harnessed such energies before. We have always used fossil fuel or ready-made energy, like very easy available energy, uh, like wood. And we have never used this renewable energy, and therefore we need to have a host of skills to understand what is renewable energy, what are the issues with it, and how we can make it commercial viable and affordable to each and every one living on this earth. So there's a huge area. This is a very huge area where we need skills to be developed. Other thing is that carbon footprint. 200 years ago or 100 years ago, there was a need for everyone to be literate. That is to understand how to read and how to now count. So number and reading was a literacy need. But today, each and every activity, business activity, or you can say all, all, all the things that we do can be measured in carbon. And therefore, there is a huge need of carbon literacy. We should be understanding that what we wear, what we eat, what we travel, this how much it costs in carbon. And so carbon accounting or carbon footprint is a very, very important, at the moment to be understood. And therefore that skill is very much needed in the market. And finally, GIS, because and remote sensing and other things, because that we rely on the satellite the more than ever. If we want to have a Google map, or if we want to understand where is which country, or what type of minerals they have, or what type of routes they have, or what type of facilities they have, what is their strategic location, what are the their topography, and all sort of those things are now uh, learned by or understood through GIS and remote control. Even the depth of the sea is measured. Even if we want to know that what happened to the very dense forest in remote area where no man can reach, what happened there and how it is growing or what is happening there. This all can be understood by GIS, and therefore we need this skill is also in a huge need. So there are these skills that we should be needing, and the people who are in STEM, that is, science, technology, engineering, and mathematics area, they are very capable of doing this. So these skills may not come through their degree courses, because all degree courses may not have these skills. They may have particular, chemistry or biology and other expertise, but they may not be able to, understand or relate it with climate change. And therefore these type of skills need to be enhanced to them. Now, analytic and policy skill. Now, if you know scientific knowledge, some say one group or one person knows scientific knowledge, but how to translate it or how to tell it to the government, or to how to understand what public needs with this, or how we can make it possible for the public to diffuse into such things, that diaper skill is also again highly needed. And then how to communicate this all in a simple language to the community, because community may not understand the terminology that is used by a scientific or a researcher person. And therefore we need to make it easy for the public to understand. If I say that, okay, you decrease your carbon footprint through travel, someone may not understand. But if I say that, okay, you travel by you walk instead of traveling. If you are traveling 2 miles, you can walk instead of traveling in car that is using a oil as a fuel. Then he might understand, okay, she's asking to drive, not to drive a car, but to walk, because it also is good for health, but also it reduces carbon emissions. So that is what we need to translate the information into simple language. And then how to then, systematic, the systems thinking is very, very important. That how the change, this simple change of not traveling by car impacts other areas. So if everyone starts walking, then what will happen? There will be too many people on road. Then how we then create a safety zone for them? Then we will have to create a separate pathways for them. Then if we create the separate pathways, we will need broader roads. Then how we create broader roads? So these are again, issues that come along with one action, change in one action. There are several issues. And so we need to understand how we will accommodate that change or transition from one position to another. And we need to have that. Again, along all these, the data has become very, very important. I can tell that I have six quits only if I can count them. If I don't measure them and count them, I cannot understand. How can I say that, oh, if I say I have few quits, then someone might understand, okay, for them it might be few can be 100 or few can be just one. So we can't, so quantitative data or digital literacy is highly needed. Again, we are now, again today here also, we have connected digitally, and therefore these platforms are becoming very, very important, and you should be gaining the skill how to maneuver those digital skills. So these are a few things that I would like to say, that skills are very, very important for in such climate emergency era. Now, because of the changes in what the skills are needed, there would be a lot of challenges in securing jobs. Even the businesses don't know what type of jobs they would be offering because of the change of the technology and the services that are required for the climate emergency. And therefore there would be several uncertain times where you will have to deal, and therefore you should be adaptive as much as possible. You should be continuously learning, because yesterday you may not be able to understand, or maybe not able to connect to Zoom because you don't know how to connect to Zoom, but today you learn how to connect to Zoom. Likewise, it is just a small example, but you will have to, keep on learning new skills, that how to address climate change, and this will require several new skills to be learned. Then you should be like you should develop that type of incentive within you, that okay, I am ready to learn what comes in. That is what we want. Then only you will be able to build resilience. Otherwise, you will be saying, okay, I can't work in this atmosphere, or I don't know this skill, or I cannot work with such, uh, work requirement. Then you will be jobless. So we should be building yourself into a competent person. And if that person can only show that I can do it, I will do it, then that is what is required by the person who is recruiting you or looking forward to working with you. And then financial preparedness. We will have to, maintain savings in such a way that they can be useful into putting into some cushion when there is a debt. Because we are living in uncertain time, and if we are entrepreneurs, or even with the extreme weather changes, we don't know what's coming next, and so we will have to have some buffer with us. And so start saving. Do not be extra incurring expenses for yourselves, and start saving and think where you can save. And it is not only for money, it is all for water or resources as well, like water, time, energy. You can think where I can save these so that it can be used or it can be pocketed for those uncertain times. And then proactive career planning. Always try to be proactive. Think that, okay, today I'm doing this work, and if that work is not available to me tomorrow, then what will I do? So try to think beyond that. Or how can I make this work more enhanced so that I don't lose this work? So try to be more proactive. So these are the, your personal attributes that can help you in job security. And then understanding climate risk. There are physical risk, transition risk, and social economic vulnerabilities in this climate atmosphere or climate emergency era. What that mean that, of course, as I mentioned, the weather events will be growing and growing. So therefore, floods and droughts and heat waves will be more and more, which would have physical risk at your own workplace or your home and so on, your infrastructure. And you must have, I'm sure you must have experienced these once in a lifetime. And so you have to be very careful that how you can protect these physical assets. But at the same time, as I said, a lot of technology is changing, a lot of skill sets are changing, a lot of requirements by the businesses are changing, and therefore you will be facing these market challenges all the time, and therefore you will be transitioning from one thing to another, and therefore you have to be more resilient. You will have to understand where to go, how to go. And so you have to be aware, talk to people, talk, be in networking as much as possible so that you know what's going on and so on. And the social and economic vulnerability, that is for many people. There are many inequalities and they are growing due to just our, infrastructure, our societal infrastructure. They are growing. So how to mitigate those things and how to impact ourselves less and less with those, inequalities, or how to overcome those inequalities. We have to try to build ourselves in that way. Finally, I would say, like, uh, protecting resources and vulnerable food systems, because we want to allow everyone to get enough food. There should be a fair system, that, you know in a sense of when there is a calamity or climate problem, I mean, weather problem or extreme event problem, I don't want that only people who can afford can survive. We want everyone to survive that. We want everyone to go over it. And therefore, we need to protect our resources, and we should be able to, support those systems that can allow people to be more resourceful, in a sense. So we have to move from agriculture to sustainable agriculture, in a sense of we have to grow climate resilient crops, regenerative farming, and so on. So if people are in agriculture or related systems, they will have to think of how we can make it more enhanced, or how we can make those products and services that can survive against climate problems. Then we have to strengthen our local food system, that is smallholder farmers at locally. We have to see how we can strengthen them. I have seen examples like, Morocco, for example. It grows so many strawberries, but never gets to the local people. The strawberries are directly exported to people in Europe. And again, these, so meaning actually what we do is that there is a lot of water footprint in a food. I don't have that presentation at the moment, but you would be surprised that there is a lot of water footprint in any food. And when we supply this food, actually we are supplying the water from one place to another. And this place where it is grown, it has already water crisis. Then what is the meaning of having that agriculture and exporting it to other country where the sufficient benefit is not enjoyed by the local people? So it's a very complex issue, and you should be always trying to advocate or support local food and local practices so that the food remains locally, people eat locally, and it is low carbon. And then we have to reduce waste. There is a lot of waste in food, time, water, energy. You have to be very mindful to identify where is the waste and then control it. So this is few things that you can work on it. You can identify there's a lot of opportunity to do this work, partnering with various stakeholders. So, of course, you won't be able to do this all alone, and therefore, you need to understand cross sector collaboration, how it works, and who will be best partner for you. And you have to collaborate, you have to engage with government. If you cannot engage directly with government, you need to know its policy and regulations so that you can understand what government requires, what academics are saying, what is based on research, and what private businesses are doing. So you need to understand what is happening elsewhere, and therefore networking is very important. You can also empower community participation because that is important that the community you serve uh, would be looking at appropriate solutions, and you should be understanding what they require and who is vulnerable so that you can provide them the best solution, and leverage shared resources and expertise. So I have already mentioned here in the first slide, this was my first slide, where I would like to show this again, that when you are in a network, you have a self leadership. You can take the self leadership in a sense of today, here, what you are here also is some sort of self leadership because you want to grow. You are here to listen to someone. And then people leadership, meaning that whatever I am saying today is something that new for you and you are trying to understand, and you might exchange something from your side would be new to me, and I will try to understand. So it is like a coach like engagement. And therefore, together as a team, we can create a leadership, and that would be our culture. So that is what I feel, that by networking, you can create a cultural leadership, and that we can leverage the shared resources and expertise that we have. And finally, I would stop here by saying together we can make this happen. Thank you very much. And I will look forward for questions. I'm sorry I have already exhausted half an hour. Sorry about it.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Thakore, for that awesome engagement. You reopened our minds. Thank you so much. So, Dr. Thakore, as someone deeply involved in building resilience, could you share a few skills that young professionals, especially women leaders, should focus on developing in today's uncertain climate landscape?
In
I repeat myself.
resilience.
Yeah.
Yes, I did say, if we want to build the resilience, we have to understand what are our, um, these vulnerabilities and try to address them. But we have to address collectively. We have to talk with people and get their buy-in. And if we are doing it collectively, they will be accepted by the community. And that is how we can become more resilient. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I'll allow the audience also to ask some questions. If you have questions, kindly raise your hand. You ask questions to Dr. Thakore.
There are several notes here I'm trying to read. However, let me go.
Okay, Dr. Thakore, you can also answer the same questions in the chat box. It's okay.
Yes. So in Greece, we have hotter summers. Yeah, exactly. There are hotter summers, forest fires, and so on. In Cameroon, we have prolonged dry season, which leads to wildfires in some rural areas, and also it leads to drying of water bodies. So yes, people have shared their experience from the climate emergency that is being happening. So that's true, and it is really happening. Winter has disappeared in general. No more seasons. It is hot, hot, hot. Yeah, very true. It's hot here also in UK today. It's hotter than any other day in April, actually, compared to last few years. So it is a global warming. That is very true. Then how climate change is affecting your lives, someone has asked to everyone, and yeah, there are several answers that there is heat waves, storms, and flooding. So everywhere we experience this climate change, and it is a sad story, but also I would say look at opportunities that we can try to address it as quickly as possible and get over it. So how we can engage ourselves in these all problems and address them. So forest reduction as well. Yeah, yeah. Everyone has said the same thing, their experience, and it is very true. Very true. Okay, so how does climate change impact your mental health or well-being at all? Yes, because of the hot weather, you feel tired, less productivity, and so on. With extreme weather, there could be flooding at no expected time, and you may be just stuck in middle of something, and you will not be able to reach your workplace or house, and so it definitely disturbs you mentally as well. And many of the young people who know this problem, they think that, oh, huge problem is still coming when they grow up, and there will be no job and no something like that, and they think that they get frustrated. So anxiety is too much in young people, and we have to calm them down, and we have to say that we are preparing a good future for you. So try to you know stop being anxiety, like going into that highly anxiety mode, but try to understand what are the problems and what you can immediately do around you yourself without incurring too much problem for you. And I think together, having everyone's support, we can address these problems. Uh, well, if you ask from nutritional perspective, there is one interesting thing that has been observed. Uh, yeah, very good point. Very good point. So many of them have know what is climate change. They know. So I'm very glad to see that the whole cohort is quite aware of climate change and its impact, which is really good. I would stop here and I would allow if anyone wants to ask any question. Comments are all very good, like they understand the problem.
If you have a question, please, you can ask Dr. Thakore. She's ready to answer you. Okay. It seems like everyone has understood.
Uh, Partnering with
Okay.
various stakeholders, we have many types of stakeholders. So, which ones should we consider? Thank you. That's very good answer. Question. The immediate one is to be considered, but of course, the other related ones as well. So, for example, I have baby food product, right? So I will immediately be concerned about the baby, that how much nutrition I am providing to them, but also the parents, isn't it? That whether they are accepting us to have that product to their babies and so on. So that is where I would see, and also what type of regulations, what type of cultural biases are there, and so on, how it affects, yeah, economic, like whatever I'm selling, is it affordable by the parents, and is it good for the child, and so on. So I would look like that you have to start with your immediate stakeholder, who is your client or a business client or a client or supplier and so on. But then you have to go beyond that, which is to look at the public opinion or what is going on in the wider world and so on. Uh, does it affect economic growth? Of course, it affects economic growth, because when there is a, say, flood or anything like that, there's a huge economic, loss. When there is fire, there is huge economic loss. So there it is. Most urgent action needed to address climate change at the community level. I think there are several, not one. For example, and if we want to group those all actions, I would say go local. Go local would be the best option, which would allow, like, your policy should be go local, which would allow you to change your actions. So you will not buy any imported clothes, you will not buy any imported food, and you will, support local businesses and so on. So you will immediately reduce the transport, overseas transport, which is highly carbon intensive. So that is one thing. And so, that is how you can change the whole action plan for yourself. Um, so in urgent, yeah, so that I have, what will do leadership when such kind of barriers of mitigation and adaptation? What will do leadership when leadership is something that I feel that you should have individually, but also, at a community level. Individually, leadership is something, I have taken a leadership of having a policy for myself of not wearing virgin clothes, meaning that I never buy new clothes. So I go to, just the charity shop or reuse clothes shop and buy clothes from there, meaning that I am not incurring any carbon emission for my clothes, because they were already prepared and I'm just buying from there. And local shops, like in my town, I don't buy it through internet or anything like that. So that is what I do, and that is what it is called, that you should take the leadership in understanding where I can immediately make a difference and how can I do it. If you are trying to make that difference, meaning that you are taking your own leadership, and that is what I mean. And you can share these examples to your friends and family, and they will also learn from that, and they will also take the leadership that way. So that is what I mean. What role does poor waste management play in climate change? A lot, because climate change waste, when it is not managed properly, it goes either in water or landfill, which is contaminated. Water bodies are contaminated, and it gets lost. Whereas if you are disposing themselves properly, managing themselves properly, you can use it as a reuse material for something else. Uh, and that is very important. I started my career at a retail shop. And what I used to do is that I used to like at a retail shop, which was, charity shop. So several people used to come and throw their un, uh, unwanted things. And initially, we used to sort them out, and we used to throw them in the our bin, which were really not useful to sell even on the in the charity shop. And we used to throw three big, uh, you know, um, 1 ton of, we had 1 ton of solid waste collection bucket. And so that were 3 tons we used to throw them every day. Now, when I went, I saw this is a huge loss, and we started recycling, segregating all these into different material. So we segregated clothes, we then iron items, then wooden items, and many other electric items, and so on. And we started selling it to the people who might use them. So old furniture was sold to be used in new furniture, or to resell it by uplifting it, and so on. And the clothes were also sold to the rug seller, the people who make rugs, and so on. So that is how I segregated all these waste into 15 materials, and we got money out of it. And also it was disposed in a channeled way, in such a way that it did not go to landfill. And we immediately, in 3 months' time, we reduced 90% of waste going to the landfill. So that is how you can, waste is very, very important. Nowadays, there is plastic recycling plants, there are organic waste recycling plants, there are everything can be recycled or reused. There are huge research going on in circular economy, and you can be part of that circular economy if you are trying to manage the waste. How push governments to introduce climate education to kindergartens and school? I think we should not be pushing any governments, because it is mandatory for the governments through the Sustainable Development Education UNESCO 10 years decade plan, which is over actually. And at that time, 10 years, they insisted that all government should introduce climate education in their schools. So we need to change the curriculum. Now, to the schools where it is not happening, you can take the initiative. Talk, if you are a parent, you can talk to the teachers and say that we need to do this. You can start helping them, and you can reach out to the principal, and so on. Uh, but at the government level also, you can start putting some blogs and social media, which can create a pressure to them. You can meet your school leaders and talk to them. So there are several ways that you can be doing, and it is happening. I actually, 10 years, 6 years ago, I endorsed one book in Turkey, which was for SDGs for kids. And I'm glad that I endorsed that today, that uh, with the use of that book, now hundreds of teachers have been trained to deliver such SDG activities in school. So that is very important. Okay, we will take a screenshot. If you are able to open your windows, we can see you all, and we can take a screenshot. and we can put it on the social media.
If you're able to open your camera, you can, and smile so that Dr. Thakore can take a screenshot of us for social media purposes.
I will wait for people to open their window, and then I will say 3, 2, 1, and then take a screenshot. Okay, we are only having 4 windows, not many. Like 4 people's faces, not many.
I'm sorry, Dr. Renuka, we have no lights, so I will be black.
Okay, not to worry. Then I will take, okay, 3, 2, 1. Let me check if I've got
Sorry,
everyone.
doctor, no light for me.
Sorry, yeah, no worries. I'm glad that even without no light, you are participating here. So I'm really grateful for that. Yes, I've taken screen 1, so I will take a screen 2 now. Yeah, okay. So 2, sorry, 3, 2, 1. And I have taken that too. And I will put this, sorry, 1 second. And I will also put this picture here also so that you can post it. And I will put it on the WhatsApp as well, so you can have it. All right.
All right.
I think we have more faces now, Dr. Renuka.
Okay, let me try. Okay, 1 second. I can take another one. Let me see. I'm not able to. Okay, you have. All right, 1 second. I will have to do something else because it tells me that I cannot post anything. Okay. I have one picture done. Hold on, I'm doing it. Another one. Okay. Okay. All right. Let me see if you said one more. You have more faces. Yes, I can take another one. All right. Ready? 3, 2. Florence, can you put your head little up? Florence, can you move little up? Yeah, that's better. That's better. Okay, well done. All right. 3, 2, 1. Okay. All right. I've captured most people. And okay, let me take one more, please. There you are. Okay. Yes. 3, 2, 1. Abdullah, you. Okay. All right. Yes. All right. I think I've got it. I will post it on WhatsApp because it's not allowing me to put it here. Okay. All right. Thank you. Okay. Wonderful. Everyone has thanked me, so I'm very grateful to all of you. Okay, there's no more comment. If anyone wants to speak, they can speak. Otherwise, we can close the session.
Okay. Thank you so much, Dr. Thakore. Thank you so much for that insightful webinar. We really appreciate
you.
effort and everything. Yeah, so
Thank you so much.
As we conclude on today's webinar, I would like to express our heartfelt gratitude to Dr. Thakore for sharing her wisdom and experience. Your work really inspires us, madam, to act boldly toward sustainable futures, especially in protecting vulnerable systems and empowering communities. A big thank you also to our attendees as well, especially the women change makers among us. Together through platforms like Women Ascension, we can continue developing strong and resilient leadership for a better, more sustainable world. Until next time, stay empowered, stay engaged, and keep building a future we all believe in. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you so much, Dr. Thakore.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye for now.